So we're going to do something a little different today, relevant no matter what tech part of the tech world you're in. We're going to talk about branding. Branding meaning not just logos that are taglines, but the kind of branding that makes people believe in something bigger. So whether it's a personal brand or a corporate brand, we're going to explore how you take something you have and turn it into something that really connects, grows, and sticks around. So to do that, we're going to hear from two incredible brands. And to start off, we have the founder of the Pekoe Trail, Miguel Cuñat. Interestingly, Miguel has a background in technology. We were chatting about it backstage. And today, Miguel has become a leading voice in sustainable and innovative tourism. He's also the creator of this amazing 300-kilometer walking trail through Sri Lanka's Steptal Highlands.
So he has a great story to tell, and he will talk to us about how it started, where it is today, and how it's possibly a case study on platformless modernization. So let's hear it from Miguel. Please welcome on stage Miguel Cuñat.
Right. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for having me here. Gosh, what an audience. I used to work in tech back in Singapore until 2003 when I moved to Sri Lanka. So here we are. I'm here at the personal request of my friend Sanjeeva. Sanjeeva, I'm so impressed with what you have achieved. It's really truly inspiring. I'm Miguel. I'm from Spain originally. I arrived in Sri Lanka in 2003, and so I have been living in here for over 2 decades. So I'm here to talk about my passion for Sri Lanka, and I'm here to talk about the Pekoe Trail. It's a love affair with the mountains of this country. I love the people of the tea country, how they've inspired me, my wife, my kids, and countless friends, and now thousands of others as well. And make no mistake, these people are the true architects of this incredible trail. We're here to tell the story and to honor them. And yes, these amazing mountains, exotic and mysterious, they have guided me, they have mentored me, they have been my teachers, my refuge, my happy place. Now, the title of this talk, From Footsteps to Ecosystems. What a great title. And the team and I chose this deliberately because it beautifully encapsulates the story of the Pekoe Trail. Let's talk about footsteps first. I can see me walking here. Yes, to walk. How simple is that? We all do it every day. And it doesn't matter whether you sit on a board of directors or whether you're an intern, whether you fish, pluck tea, sing, dance, or code for a living. We all walk. We're all human. For hundreds of thousands of years, our ancestors walk much more than we do. Walking long distances was a daily affair. We're designed to walk. We're coded to walk. You just need to put one foot in front of the other, and then the other, and that's all. It's free, it's easy, it's safe. So let me start by telling you that creating the Pekoe Trail was in a sense a very easy thing to do, because all I had to do was walk. Walk that way, then walk that way, and then, when I hit a fork, then go one way, come back. But it was all walking. All right? It took 10 years to do this. I started this as a passion project in 2011. Well, actually, there's a little bit more to it. It was a little bit more than walking, and that's where my tech background comes in a little bit. Every evening, I would go back to my computer, download the GPX files onto plot a route, make fixes, make the corrections on the trail, tag locations, write copy for every stage, upload all the pictures onto Wikiloc and AllTrails, which are two great apps. Now, could I have done it without tech? Well, I mean, I like to think so, but it definitely would have been much, much more difficult. The other thing is that, as I said, I started this as a passion project. And it's important to say that I started this with no deadlines, no targets, no one to report to, just the blessings of my wife and my family. So yes, we all walk. It's so simple. It's so profound. A trail is a space where race, religion, ethnicity, gender, status, all of that is put aside. Walking cuts across nationalities, class, and power dynamics. These pictures of the first end-to-enders, a Polish couple who stumbled upon the GPX coordinates of the trail on the internet when it was still a prototype, and they completed the entire thing on their own when there was no signage, so they were using the app. So a walk in nature, it's a borderless space, borderless in the sense that it holds space between human beings to connect deeply and meaningfully with each other. Even with random strangers, you see, I'm not a mountaineer. I don't get a kick out of summiting a mountain. Reaching the top, to be honest, doesn't really interest me that much. Also, metaphorically speaking. What interests me, and I have come to know about myself over the years, is connecting with other humans, sharing stories, having the opportunity to connect. And in the case of the trail, is should I want to, with some random individual I bump into, serendipitously, and then walk alongside him or her for a while. Quality time with a random stranger, it may sound weird, but when you're on a trail, the space that it holds is intimate. The conversations are deep and meaningful. Over a long-distance trail, you quickly realize that you're giving random strangers more attention and quality time than some of the time that you're giving to some of your friends, whom you text all day long. And then, of course, there's nature, connecting with Mother Nature, spending time alone, bathing in rock pools, forest bathing, connecting with our Pachamama, listening carefully, guided by the whispering spirits of the rivers, the valleys, the forests, the escarpments, and the mountains themselves. Listening carefully and guided by And so that's how the Pekoe Trail came to be. Sri Lanka's first long-distance hiking trail, 300 kilometers of a trail that spans the entire breadth of the tea country, what we call the hill country in Sri Lanka. A 22-day hike that starts in Kandy, Sri Lanka's spiritual capital, and ends in Nuwara, Sri Lanka's hill capital. Also, we call it the hill capital. It traverses more than 80 villages, diverse plantations, not only tea, 14 different valleys, each with its river crossings and mountain passes, great lakes, native forests, caves, waterfalls, monasteries, countless shrines and kobyls and temples, places steeped in mythology, stories of Ravana, and the more recent history of the great tea industry, layer upon layer of stories. You see, the Pekoe Trail is nothing but a story made up of story upon story, an endless narrative, a tale, like a good book. But yes, anchored on and articulated as a physical trail. The trail is a physical reality, yes, but it's more than that. So many years ago, I found myself descending the Mekong on a 3-day expedition with my mentor and friend, Lisa Lindblad, who, by the way, was voted best travel designer in the world, and whose star client is Bill Gates. So I received a gift from her that would change my life. She said, find the storytellers. As a young woman, she used to live in Kenya with the Maasai. She lived there for almost 2 years. A journey is like a mosaic made up of stories. And the Maasai have a proverb that captures the same spirit. Wisdom is like a baobab tree. No one individual can embrace it. And that's what the trail is. Not one story, but many. Not one truth, but a tapestry. Find me your stories for Bill and Melinda, she said. The year was 2008, and the world economy had just descended into chaos. It was collapsing as a result of the property bubble. And our industry, in this case the travel industry, was about to take a momentous turn. Banks were filing for bankruptcy. People were losing their jobs in every industry by the hundreds of thousands. And something was changing in the travel industry. What we often call conversational currency, the stories we share over dinner when we return from a journey, that shifted dramatically. It used to be, I was in Sri Lanka and I visited Galle Fort. And now it was, I met an incredible artist who taught us how to paint traditional Sri Lankan masks and explained how each one of these masks tells a story, heals an affliction, or wards off misfortune. And then spending quality time with the ones you love or on your own. Experiencing what it is to pluck tea, ride a bike through a cinnamon plantation, or dive a shipwreck. And then, of course, transformation. It was coupled with transformation. The opportunity to pause, reflect, reconcile, make future plans, and simply have the space to rest and think. And so experiential travel and transformational travel was born. A complete paradigm shift that sparked innovation across the travel industry in every direction. Because where you stayed, or whether you flew business class or economy, or what resort you were at, nice as they are, became less relevant. What you talked about was experiences, how they connect you more deeply to the world, how they help you settle into the world, as Lisa Lindblad would put it. Our job was to write the code. So I returned to Sri Lanka from that trip in Laos, and my mantra became find the storytellers. Focus on truth, focus on authenticity. The magic of travel is in the people you meet along the way. And the reason people travel is to experience what is different, what is true. So years after setting up and running Sri Lanka's first tailor-made luxury travel specialist and packaging and selling luxury travel, we knew the game was changing. And honestly, we loved where it was going. It was going deep. We could now compete on insight, depth of experience, connection and connections, and access to people and to places. The magic of travel is indeed in the people you meet and their fascinating stories. And the reason people travel, again, is to experience what is different. This is key. Luxury was now about understanding, awareness, realization, discovery, mental space. And well, Sri Lanka was our oyster, for sure. My God, what a country. Layer upon layer of stories, narratives, traditions, folklore, tales. In Spanish, we say duende. This country has duende, which means it has something magical and mystical about it. And tapping into that energy, that vibe made all the difference. Our small travel company was infused with an insane curiosity for all things Sri Lankan. We were out to find storytellers in this topsy-turvy land. And as Arthur C. Clarke put it, the island of Sri Lanka is a small universe. It contains many variations of culture, scenery, and climate, as some countries 12 times its size. Every conversation was a thread of opportunity, a rabbit hole we needed to explore, willing to go all the way down, like Alice in Wonderland. For instance, the city of Kandy, Sri Lanka's spiritual heart, described at the time by many of the guidebooks and travel media as a place to skip because of the traffic and the crowds, was suddenly transformed into an ecosystem of eccentric characters, each with their own take on life in this timeless town. Painters, chefs, monks, planters, architects, even trained engineers all became storytellers. An ecosystem of storytellers, interconnected as we weaved each story into the rich tapestry that we presented to our clients. And the company grew, and the competition struggled to keep up. We were 5 years ahead of the game. And so the years rolled on, and we went deeper and deeper and further afield. So that's how the Pekoe Trail came to be, from a place of deep curiosity, from a place of wanting to go further, to get to know Sri Lanka more. And yes, why not to say it, from a place of wanting to be the best travel company in Sri Lanka. Not the biggest, not the most profitable, but simply the best. The best at what? The best at storytelling, at framing, the best at putting the why before the what. And what better way to do this than to explore this country on foot, slowly, mindfully, taking one's time, with an open mind and an open heart, picking up on the small details. All we needed to do is see life, and in this case, our work, through a different lens. Slow down, pay attention. When we look and we listen carefully, with intention, not only to individuals, but also to the rhythms of nature, something truly magical happens. We grow. We become more aware, we appreciate more, we sympathize more, we connect, we find purpose. The Pekoe Trail and Sri Lanka as a whole is not an open source platform where locals can build their dreams and businesses on any more than your life and your collective movement is a borderless platform, an ecosystem that grows stories, narratives, dreams, and purpose. Even the dreams and purpose of imaginary people, avatars, like my dear Auntie Pereira, who doesn't have an Auntie Pereira in Sri Lanka. She was my guiding light, my trail buddy. Call me autistic if you want, a figment of my imagination. She was there at every turn, on every ascent, on every descent. The grand dam of the trail, she who like a goddess spoke to me and guided me when the going got tough, when I was confused or tired, but never lost. Not all those that wander are lost, right? That's what they say. So the mantra was, if Auntie Pereira can do it, anyone can do it. So can she do it? Do we descend down these steep stairs, or do we zigzag down the trail? She made the trail for everyone, as described by BBC. The trail is broad-based, inclusive, welcoming, thanks to an imaginary character called Auntie Pereira. But hold on. Wait a second. What am I seeing? Is this for real? Hundreds of thousands of kilometers of trails? Which one to take? Where do I go? A beautiful garden, perfectly manicured, created for a different purpose 150 years ago, at another time. But wait. Let's remove our blinkers. Could these trails, designed for the transportation of tea leaf to the factory over 150 years ago, could these trails be something else? Do they have a hidden purpose, a hidden secret? Could they change the game for Sri Lanka tourism? Could they move the needle from unsustainable tourism to regenerative tourism? Could they heal? Could they inspire? Could they hold the key to personal growth? Could this be a thing? Could they appeal to and draw a more conscious and evolved tourist, one that is more aware of the impact that his or her presence has on local communities, nature, and the economy? One whose dollar is spread more equitably who is more respectful and more conscious. But wait a minute, where is this traveler from? Who cares? Does it matter whether you're from India, Australia, or Brazil? No, it doesn't matter. Does it matter to the person selling you bananas in a remote community? No, it doesn't matter. Whether you're a Hindu, whether you're Christian, whether you're Muslim, none of that matters. You're just human. The trail cuts across nationalities, yes, but more importantly, it speaks to a more evolved and conscious traveler. And for the less conscious, it teaches them. It's a space for personal growth, is it not? Physical, mental, and spiritual. Crisscross by paths ideal for a morning stroll, peppered with once family homes of the planters, factories that look like cathedrals, interspersed by rivers, forests, dotted with small hamlets inhabited by lovely people easy on the smile, the hands of which pluck our tea with such grace and humility. Where every person, every planter, every pilgrim, every plucker is a storyteller. What is this place? What is this trail? What lies beyond what I've told you to see? Beyond the box, beyond the frame someone placed around the picture and gave a name, a label, beyond the guidebook, beyond the beaten path. What if this isn't just a trail, but an invitation to look again, to see with new eyes? It's the Pekoe Trail, guys. UK Travel Guild's Best International Development Project 2023. Thanks to the UK media, who were unbelievable. Voted Best Experience Worldwide by the readers of National Geographic 2024. And I say voted by the readers of National Geographic, who select 20 signature projects worldwide. They voted this one, number one. And one of the best places to visit in the world 2025 by Time Magazine this year. Investment. Close to 15 years of passion, 1,000 hikes, and circa $2.5 million that came from the European Union and USAID at the time. Impact or outcome, estimated $50 million of impact into local communities to date. Happy travelers, happy locals. Now a global brand, refreshing Sri Lanka's identity. A brand underpinned by truth, putting Sri Lanka firmly on the map as one of the best hiking destinations in the world. But more importantly, empowering local communities in one of the poorest parts of the country. How so? So let me tell you a little secret about this incredible validation and recognition the trail has received. Size matters. This trail would have never achieved this level of success and recognition if it was just a one-day hike. You see layer upon layer of mountains fading into the horizon. And that's where I walked from, all the way back there. The valley beyond the valley. My God, really? Yes, you did. You really did. The sheer scale of the trail, the sense of awe-inspiring bewilderment comes from its sheer size, its scale, the enormity of the endeavor. This is what drew National Geographic, the New York Times, and BBC all down here. And I say dream big, base it on a true story, and they will come. They need you. You are the story. Approximately 30,000 people hiked the Pekoe Trail this past year. 30,000 people who experienced Sri Lanka's raw and blemished beauty. And that includes a few small, smelly towns and a few rubbish dumps along the way as well. Because remember, people travel to experience what is true. Don't try to hide it. Don't be afraid to express who you are. If you want the train to run on time, go to Switzerland on holiday. We practice acceptance, right? Of course, we also want more efficiency, right? But we're about serendipity, karma, right? Chill out, What's the rush, right? The Pekoe Trail is a school, a classroom, a teacher in humility, compassion, respect, mindfulness, awareness, and wellness, and ultimately humanity and its connection to the planet we are so privileged to inhabit. Look on social media, groups popping up, posts filled with passionate tales, pure joy, timeless memories. Look into the eyes of the guides championing the trail's conservation and sustainability, maintaining the trail sometimes at their own expense. Look into the eyes of the mothers and grandmothers cooking traditional homemade food and making fresh juice for hikers off the trail. Or the smiles of the children walking with you for a while as they return home from school. Hear the sounds of nature, the water flowing, the birds chirping, the occasional deer calling. Or simply feel the presence of Brother Leopard, eyes of amber, fierce and wise, keeper of the jungle's breath. But don't worry, because in all these years, and that's 20 years hiking, I've never seen a leopard on the trail. But they know me for sure. But most importantly, look inside your soul. Appreciate what we have. Work together. Governments, corporates, people of Sri Lanka. Coalesce around the magical place this country is and can offer the world. Work together. Don't try too hard to win. Try instead to express. And let's continue to take care of one another. Just like all of you guys, WSO2 is doing at the Q Estate. In the coming months, thanks to you, together we will be restoring this small school and bringing vital resources, hope, and opportunity to this remote community. Thank you very, very much. On behalf of all of these children, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Some of you will get to see it when on Saturday when we hike together. And since I'm talking to techies, I want to add that during all this time, I learned a little bit. I sort of ventured a little bit into blockchain and cryptocurrencies. So, and in a strange and wonderful way, the journey of the Pekoe Trail kind of mirrors my journey designing the Pekoe Trail mirrors the journey of crypto. Because designing a trail is a lot like writing code. You map pathways, handle forks, debug blockages, test for flow, and constantly iterate. You create an elegant architecture for human experience. One line, one step, one segment at a time. And from a terrace here in Colombo, a friend who shall remain unnamed and I imagine the trail as a DAO, a decentralized system where no one owns the whole, but everybody contributes to its part and benefits. The trail is already a chain of blocks, a public ledger. What if tea estate workers one day held crypto wallets? What if hotels were soul-bound tokens linked to trail stages? What if NFTs portrayed physical realities, not just the random gimmicks? And the market delivered real benefits to the DAO. A viewpoint, a place of worship, a waterfall. How can tech gamify the journey? Like the blockchain, the Pekoe Trail resists centralization. It demands cooperation, transparency across sectors, institutions, and ideologies. It's governed not by rules, but by experience, as mentioned before, and by how happy people are with the trail and how happy the trail is with people. Think regenerative feedback loops, all decentralized, all borderless, all profoundly human. And as the cypherpunks once said, just write some code and you can change the world. Well, we wrote a trail. same spirit, different syntax. Thank you very much.